Finding the Voices.
Talk show by Monica Ingudam.
I'm a huge fan of Finding the Voices.
You're doing a great job for Manipur.
Manipur bu prithivida masatak pa
good positive voices and make those voices more visible.
We wanted our voice to reach in all the corners of the world.
Interesting people.
Been finding voices on
People from our own place.
Share positive stories and inspiring stories and bring out the good stories of Manipur.
Finding the Voices.
Welcome to Finding the Voices. Today we have a very special guest joining us from Texas. We have Peraly Meyer, originally from Komlathabi, Chandel district, Manipur, and currently she is in healthcare working as a surgical assistant at Denton Regional Medical Centre. So welcome, Peraly.
Thank you, Miss Monica, for inviting me in Finding the Voice.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited about our interview today. I do know a little bit about you, but for our listener, if you can, in your own words, introduce about yourself, about your childhood, before we delve into your work.
Okay, as you mentioned earlier by yourself also, I was born in Komlathabi village, Chandel district in Manipur. I studied in Manipur itself from Infal. I changed 3-4 schools in my early age. And after I finished my 12th class, I went to Guwahati to do nursing in Saturbury Christian Hospital.
So you studied in Imphal and not in Komlathabi?
I did both in Komlathabi. My nurseries were in Komlathabi. My half of my high school was in Infal Julalane Kids English School. From there, I moved back to village again because of my parents. They can't afford, since I grew up with 7 siblings in the family, and the education was very important for my families. They want us to get every education to all the siblings, that 7 of us. So we have to divide the money wise, since my dad was the only one who was supporting us. My mom was a housewife. So after I studied till class 8 in a kids English school, my parents cannot afford me to stay there, since I have other elder sisters and other younger siblings where they want to continue their study again. So my parents, and plus I need to help my families to, at that time we grew up helping for the fields. We go to the paddy fields and we go and collect firewoods in the jungles. Yeah, I joined government school in class 9 and 10.
Okay.
During that
course, how was that experience?
Yeah, during that course, I helped my families, especially my mom, since my other siblings are not home. They study in Delhi, and my other siblings were in Infal too. So I have to have my studying in government school. You can bunk the class anytime. Just you can join the 1-2 periods and just go home and do what you need to do. But I never stopped studying myself at home. My metric very good position. So after I finished my metric there, I got admission in Manipur College. I was dreaming to come to DM College, but I missed the opportunity. So I went to Manipur College. I studied science.
Okay. So what did you want to become like when you were small?
Oh, at a very young age, I was hooked up to helping people. I love helping people. I have a heart of gold, which I enjoy helping people. So at a very young age, I've always helped my mom. I always help my aunties, my uncles, those who are in the hospital. Every time my mom's side, every time they go to hospital, I'm always there to go with them. That was at the age of, just at the age of 12, 13, I started going to hospital and helping them. If anybody is sick and they are going to hospital, I just go and help them.
Okay, so you had that from your childhood, the affinity towards working for a hospital.
Yes. And
Okay.
what struck me most was when I was 12 years old, my younger brother, he had meningitis and he died in my hand. That one also in the hospital in Reims in Lamphey. So that very, very situation touched me, and I said to myself, I will do medical. So medical was always my option.
Okay. So you had, a personal tragedy also, which you felt that, you had to go in this line.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, so tell us your journey on how you, started going into the medical line and how you got a job and the background to that.
Okay. When I finished my 12th class, I teach in English school in Peraly, Ideal English School. During that time, my mom was looking for some place for me to go for a nursing. So without any knowledge of myself, my mom got a form from one of the girls who studied in Saturday Christian Hospital in Guwahati. So obviously my mom was talking to that girl to send form for me. So when that girl sent a form to my mom, so my mom gave me to fill up that form. So after filling that form, I got the interview from Saturday Christian Hospital in Guwahati. That's how my journey starts.
So you did your, your PUC in Manipur College.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And then after that, you went to Guwahati for your nursing.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right. Then after your nursing, which was 2 years or 3 years?
I did my 4 years nursing. 3 years is general nursing and 1 year midwifery.
Okay. Okay, then after that, what happened?
Oh, it was so amazing. Amazing experience. I never thought this nursing taught me how to cope. Absolutely anything that I never dreamed about. So the best thing about nursing is it opens up the door that I will never thought about it. So after I finished my nursing, I just try to find a job, but I work in the private sector here and there in Guwahati for almost 3 years after my nursing, just to get experience. I work in downtown Guwahati.
Okay.
I work in neurological center Guwahati, and after that I work in Sankar Netralaya Guwahati. That was the eye hospital. From there, they sent me to Madras for a year for OR, in the operation theater to assist the surgeon. It was a very eye-opening there to go there, and I learned a lot of skills. After I come back from Madras, I worked for a year in Sankar Netralaya in Guwahati. From there, I proceed and I apply for All India Medical Institute, New Delhi.
Okay, so you worked, in Guwahati, and then you worked in Madras, and then you tried to work in Delhi. So did it ever occur to you to work in Manipur, or you had that inspiration to go back and work in Manipur?
I always had an inspiration to stay home, especially my parents. My mom always wants us to go stay in Manipur. You know, in the system in Manipur we have is when someone is sick in the hospital, we have to have somebody there in the hospital, known person or any family members. It's just a culture or what, I don't know. But if we feel secure when someone is there, known person or a family member is working in that hospital. So my mom requests me to come to Manipur and work in the hospital in RIMS or some. That time, RIMS was the only place to work in Manipur. They don't have private hospital like they have today. So I asked, since my mom asked me to come to Manipur, I came back to Manipur to get interview in RIMS. But it's a very unfortunate situation. Manipur is in an open corruption is there in Manipur. So because of the corruption, though I did the interview in RIMS and I passed every interview and all the skills they need I have and all the experience, even the director told me that I did very well. But since we can't bribe and we can't pay the money, my parents were poor. They can't afford to give the money what they're asking. So I was not selected. That's the main reason that I left Manipur, because of the corruption, because I can't afford and I can't pay the money. If I have the skills and the knowledge, I want them to select me through my education. If I were not educated or if I were just layman, I don't mind to buy my service. But what was the point if I do 4 years training and 3 years of experience in here and there in the private sector, and when I come back home, they don't want me, they don't want my skills to be used back in a homeland. They want the money to buy my job, which I opposed myself, and I told my mom, I can't give the money. I have all the educations I need, so I need to go to the Central India to find a job.
Okay, so this was in which year?
That was in 1994.
So you were very strong with your stance that you are not going to, go with the corruption, and you are educated, and your education would mean nothing if you had to abide or go with the flow of corruption.
Yes.
No, I really want to thank you for sharing this story, because I think it means a lot, particularly in our society, wherein it's very prevalent. Corruption is so prevalent. And also I want to share, the rest of your story, that despite what you have done, you came out and you have faced the situation and you made a career for yourself. So after that, you said, okay, I'm not going to pay and work, but you're going to look out for jobs wherein you would get it out of your own merit and, out of your own expertise and the knowledge you have gained after having studied 4 years of nursing.
Yes.
And of course, you had a lot of experience in Guwahati and then in Madras. And then you pursued your career later in Delhi at AIIMS.
Yes. This nursing has opened a door for me. It's in the new things. Since I work in different departments, I literally work in each and every departments in the hospitals. So this one, it opens me new things and discover lots of, in the medical field, it relies and make me to discover what I like most and what I like best.
So what are the different exposure you got as part of your working experience in different parts of India, and what did you finally find that you liked the most or you performed the best?
AIIMS was a very big opportunity, and it opens my eyes. because I did my nursing training in Saturday Christian Hospital, which is completely manual work, so to say. It's completely, they don't have high-tech instruments there. Most of the things where we literally do manually. But when I came to AIMS, it was a eye-opening for me, and I learned a lot of new things, which is completely high-tech. AIMS was very, very good opportunity, and it was a learning experience which increased my skills set.
So you felt like, you were educated in Guwahati, you worked in Guwahati, and then you worked a little bit in Madras, but after you started your experience at AIMS, it was a whole different experience because of the technology and, different infrastructure of the hospital.
Yes, that's correct.
So after you worked in Delhi, then how did you progress in your career and how did you land up in US?
Okay, well, it's very interesting. When I was working in Delhi, I worked with most of the North Indian, I worked with the North Indian, but especially with the South Indians, Malayali girls, most of the thing in India, in Delhi itself, I don't see that much Northeast nurses in AIMS when I was there. It was I joined AIMS in 1996. So all my colleagues, my co-workers were mostly Malayalis.
Okay.
So
at that time, when you joined AIMS, you didn't see many people from the Northeast in the healthcare, but you saw a lot of your colleagues were from Kerala.
Yes.
That's
how it inspired me to go abroad, and how it makes me to face the interviews to go to Western or European countries.
Okay. So from your colleagues who are, from your colleagues who are from Kerala, you got to know about opportunities abroad and got the knowledge of how to apply and things like that.
Yeah. During the break time, all they discuss is which agent you go. Even there also they get bribed to go through agent. I think some of them.
Okay.
It's so sad. I have to talk lots of corruption here. Even to go through some of the agents, they are talking. They say they give this and that, this and that. But I was so curious. I always love to ask questions. I always want to know them, how they go. That's how it all started with me.
Okay.
Some of the girls, they suggest me that I should go for the class to attend some of the, they give exams, CGNFS, that's for the international nursing.
Mm-hmm.
In the price, you have to pay them to go for that class. So I joined that class for almost a month. I was doing night duty in AIMS, in ICU, and without sleeping, I go in the daytime to attend for a couple of hours for that class to apply for, to get through international nurses, whether in Europe or in the United States.
Okay.
It's kind of NCLEX exam here they have.
I see. So only when you pass the exam, then you would actually be eligible to apply for any positions in United States or in Europe.
But that was especially for United States, if you get through the exam.
I see. Got it. So first you had attended the class for application for the United States. And how much are the class and how long is it?
It's not it depends on, you don't have to attend a class. If you are book smart, you can read yourself.
Okay, I got it. So it was, the class was more just to prepare you for the exam.
Yeah, it is for preparation for the exam. But I'm not a BSc nursing, I'm just a general nursing.
Okay.
So I have to study more to get through that exam.
Monica from Finding the Voices.
Finding the Voices.
Finding the Voice.
Air Force ki sutta isellalero kujuda imad khanu mahita
I could see my father. Who came to meet my headmaster because he was unable to pay the fee. I'm sorry.
Because we need such story for people to have faith in the government, in the system, that yes, it's working. And
Let's bring peace in our home state, Manipur.
Who have got the job without bribery. They'll do justice to their job and they will help raise the standard of Manipur.
Me machine crack do. I adu paraga tingogi.
So I went for that class and it went off and I didn't go for an interview or anything. But later on, there was an advertised in the Hindustan Times newspaper that the London embassy was hiring nurses for NHS. That's how I applied.
Okay, so you just got to know about the job opportunity in London through the newspaper and then you applied.
Yes.
Okay, so for London, did you have to give a different exam?
No, when I applied for London, they called me interview. So the interview was from England itself. The nurses, they come to interview us. It was.
Oh, I see. So it was like a recruitment in India. They come to India and then they host the interview and then, okay, so you didn't have to qualify for any exam or anything. You just have to get through that interview. Okay, got it. All right. And then?
They recognize the Indian certificate there in United Kingdom.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So they interview us in higher. First was the written test. And if you pass the written test, they will call you for the Viva interview. So that's how I was so lucky. I was selected in among the 1,000 people came to give the written test. And
1,000?
Yeah.
Out of 1,000 people?
Out of
1,000. So how many people were selected?
100.
Oh, okay. So you were very happy.
Yeah, I was so happy that I was one of them, 100.
Okay. And then, I mean, you know, and again, like from your experience of corruption back in Manipur, it must have felt, it must have been a very, very happy moment because that is something which you got it out of your own merit, out of your own excellence. And, you know, there was absolutely no one you knew in that company and, you know, they just selected you. So that must have given you a very, very good sense of satisfaction.
Oh gosh, it is. I was just jumping. As soon as I came out from the Hyatt hotel lobby, I just called my sister and I was just on my throat shouting myself.
So you got to know the same day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
they just tell you on the spot. So you have to prepare. So they explain to you everything that they are going to send you for the visa process and everything. So they give us the paper and the website. I download there and I went to the London embassy in New Delhi. That's how. And they send us my ticket. Also, I don't pay one penny. I don't spend one single paise.
Wow, that's so interesting. All right. And then you started your next step of your career of working internationally.
Yes.
So how long did you work in London and where did you work in London?
I work in Weston-super-Mare in Uphill, called in the Bristol side. I worked there 2.5 years there. It was eye-opening also there.
So it was again like, after you had thought that, okay, wow, AIMS had so many new things and you learned a lot of skills and you saw the difference in terms of technology, equipment, infrastructure, and now you go to London and again it was a whole different, I guess, a whole different scenario wherein you had to learn and adapt to a lot of new things.
Yeah, it is. But health-wise, medical-wise, I think all internationally, all the equipments are almost similar, and there's nothing that much difference. But just the culture, we have to adjust with the culture and the system of each countries.
Okay, so can you elaborate a little bit on the culture and adaptation you had to, which you went through when you went to London?
I like the systems in the Londons, and it's so hard to put in words sometimes. I don't like to do the comparison. But which country you are going through or which work you did, it depends entirely in individual perception and conception. But for me, it was I like the system there. I like the respect, and I like the privacy of each and everyone that I come across. And one of the things that I liked in England was people are very helpful, and everybody work as a team, and always your leaders, your senior nurses or your supervisors, they're always there to help you if you have any doubt and if they can assist you in any given time. But in India,
can you elaborate a little bit on the privacy? Because I'm a little curious to know what your experience is.
What I mean, the privacy means in India, we don't have that individual privacy among the patients and even in the staff also now. In India is kind of family. The whole family has to come and ask you everything. You explain to the family, you explain to the relatives. But in England, you don't have to explain to everybody. Just you have to have only one family members who is authorized and who is the attorney of that particular patient. No?
So there was more patient privacy and
confidential.
You felt that the patient had their own their space, and they could. It's a little different than in India.
Yes, it's different, but I don't like to compare. That's the culture that we came. That's just the background culture. We are just different.
Right. Okay. All right. And then about your working style, in terms of work culture, what is your experience?
I'm very positive. I have very positive attitude, so I don't have to say of anybody that the work culture, the Indian people, so they are very hardworking. Of course, in 100, there will be always 50 will be 50-50. To me, it's 50-50. The culture that I work in England also, the people are very helpful. They are very hardworking and very sincere. In India also, I had very sincere, hardworking I came across, but it's just different.
So, okay, so now you worked in London for 2.5 years, and then tell me about your journey to America.
Gosh, I never thought or dreamed to come here in the United States. I thought that I love London there. I thought I lived there, but God blessed me with a man, with a remarkable man. That's how I come here to the United States to live with the man that I met.
Okay, so it was love and, your marriage which brought you to America.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so how about your work in the United States?
I think London and the United States, there's nothing changed. The similarities is almost all the culture-wise, there's the similarities, the work-wise, is everything is same. But when I came here, I keep my career on hold. I don't work as a nurse, but I work as a surgical technician, surgical assistant in the surgical ward and orthopedic. So I enjoy it. I have always a passion for helping the people. So I love working here, and still I'm continuing.
So I have always admired, everybody who has contributed in one way or another for the healthcare, particularly because I feel that not only your expertise, but you need a lot of strength to be very calm because the patient is looking up to you and I guess seeking your calmness during the crisis they are facing. So how do you personally keep up with all the pains which you see every day as part of your work?
Sometimes it's so emotional, but out of emotional comes love and compassion. So most of things that I do myself is I always do with love from my heart, and I care, and I try to give the gold standard level to each and every individual person that I come across in my daily work.
So as part of your job, I know that of course we have the privacy, but not to delve into the patient so much, but can you share some of your experience in terms of, just to get a glimpse of your career and your life, being in what you do?
When you're working in the healthcare, I go and work for the patient, not for myself. So when patients, sometimes here, most of the elders, they don't have families around them. They feel lonely. So listening is very important in my job place. I feel that way, and I listen to them. I don't share my story to them, but I listen what they say and what they tell me.
So listening is one of the things which you offer and which you have felt that, it really is needed, by the patient or by the patient's family at that point of time.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I am very thankful to you, and again, like to everybody who works in the healthcare, because there were times wherein I have been in the hospital and I have always looked up, with the dedication and calmness and the details and the patience with how we have been treated. And so I really admire what you do.
Oh, thank you.
So what about some of the challenges? Because I always feel like, in your career, like every day you go and you're dealing with people who are sick and who are in very trying situations. So like you said, you are always being elevated and trying to, you don't think about yourself. It's more the patient, it's more for them. But is there any challenges like which you, would like to share with us?
Of course, there's always a challenge when you deal with people. Everybody has a different attitude and different character. Sometimes even some of the patients and the families, they might yell at you. Hey, we are human beings. Sometimes we get stressed and we get upset also. But at that moment, you don't have to present yourself with a bad attitude or something verbally. No, you have to smile. When people get frustrated, they give you with something harsh words and all, but you don't have to take personally. They are in pain, they are in need of that help. So you have to just listen to them and smile at them. them, but later on when they feel better, they always say, sorry that I misbehaved to you. So that's a good feedback I always receive from the patients.
I see. So like there has been multiple instances wherein because of the pain and, you know, the situation, what they are going through, sometimes they kind of take it out to you as a staff and yell at you or, you know, show their anger. But from your end, you don't take it personally. You just believe that, you know, it's a part of what they are going through, and you just try to be calm and smile and be there for them.
Yes, that's how
Wow.
I do.
That takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, that's how I do every day. I'm in the front line. If the doctors are coming, just what time the doctor will be coming, they will ask you. If the medicines are not in time, they will just jail at you. You know, you have to smile, you have to patience with them, and you have to explain to them. Once, if they are in pain also, that's a human. If you once explain to them, they understand here. They understand. So it works both sides, but you have to be patient with them, and you have to explain. They give you bad attitude, it doesn't mean that you have to give them the same attitude. You have to explain to them, and you have to smile them back. But later on, when they feel better, they always apologize. That's the good part. In the end, I feel satisfied myself what I do.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. So is there anything which I haven't asked you, but which you would like to share with us?
Oh, I like to encourage all the Millennium students back home and everywhere in the world that they have to have a strong vision and make it to be real, and they have to expand their horizon, and they don't have to be afraid to find or search and dream big things, because all in the end, if they go through a tunnel, always there is a light in the end, they say. So I encourage all the youngsters and the new millennium to never give up their hope.
Thank you for that message. So just looking back into both our native land, as we know, there are some unrest and conflicts and I guess ethnic clashes at times. So what is your opinion, and what is your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm not a politician. I see the things that happening, especially in Northeast India, and particularly in Manipur state, between the Nagas, Meiteis, and Kukis. It's a very, very sad situation. But I don't have any comments to give, but I love everybody to come together and live peacefully. I grew up with a diverse, we should be very proud of ourselves. We grew up in a diverse state, especially Manipur. Manipur is very unique. It's a very unique state, and even Jawaharlal Nehru said it's the land of jewels. No? So the land of jewels to me is the people that we are the jewels of that state. So unfortunately, because of all these political situations, these incidents is sad to watch in the Facebook or in the news. But living abroad, from living here, we have every race, culture that comes from Manipur. We live here peacefully here. We love each other like we used to do before. I grew up loving each and every people there in Manipur. We don't have, you are the this thing, you are the, we are Manipur. I'm very proud to say that I'm Manipur. I'm a Manipuri. Though I'm a Moyon, but I'm a Manipuri. I always say that I'm a Manipuri. So I love my other counterparts, whether it's a Kuki or Naga or Meitei, it doesn't matter to me, that one. They are all my brothers and sisters.
Right. I mean, we are from Manipur and we are Manipuri, and that's how, that's what it counts. The diversity is there. We are proud of it, and we are very happy to be learning from each other. of our diverse background, culture, dialect, food, and but I do believe that there are a lot of people who believe in peace, progress, and love for each other, and that's one of the small effort we are doing in outreaching and trying to get all the voices together so that we can show that yes, there are a lot of good people out there doing good things despite our situations and our background. A big example like yourself, who has studied, who has overcome corruption, and who has made your own career out of your own merit, and not depending on any bribe or any political figure or anybody to give you a job.
Thank you for inviting me in Finding the Voice. I hope and pray that our people hear the voices of each and every individual, and let's end the corruption and let's bring peace in our home state, Manipur especially.